Bitch, just admit that you want all that money, that you want all that success, that you want all that attention. Just admit it, okay? So, hey, ladies, welcome back to another episode of Healing into Femininity. And today is Dark Femininity Edition. And it's just so right. The vibe is right. I just came home and I felt like I want to create even more. And I got into this whole topic of dark femininity. And number one, I want to say something because just recently I kind of had a fallout with a friend or with a colleague whatsoever, and we talked about dark femininity, and then she kind of accused me not really promoting the image of dark femininity. And I want to say that a woman is not a monolith, and this is not the number one thing that I also want to promote on this channel, that we are, first of all, we as human, we are contradictive, and number two, you can be all. You can be representing the sweet, nice, clean girl aesthetic and still be a bitch. You can still be in that dark femininity, because dark femininity today, I want to talk a little bit about it, and I just really want to vibe with you. Okay. So it's actually here. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm tired. That's why I'm also happy to be having on these other lights, but I don't care. And for me, this is also part of being, yeah, in this dark feminine energy. I don't have to be perfect. I just want to get out what I want to get out. And I just want to chill with you a little bit. And I want to go into the topic of dark femininity. So I think people are talking about dark femininity. I just want to like share my point. And for me, it's like kind of dark femininity versus being the good girl, right? Being a people pleaser, being the good girl, and having the dark side activated. So, a little background, I personally have been I'm a overachiever. I've loved to be an achiever. Like I've always loved to kind of like be competitive, but not really in a confrontational sense. And this is what I want to start off with. So I realized that I have been a people pleaser, definitely. Oh my goodness. And I have also been like I kind of covered myself up as being the good girl, even though I have not really been the good girl. Like I have been, and I said it a few times on this channel. If you're new, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button, and welcome to this place where it's all about women's empowerment. I believe women want to be free. You can do whatever you want. This is a decentering man channel. I'm only kind of talking about women and how you can get whatever you want in this life. Let's talk about beauty. Let's talk about health. Let's talk about psychology, sociology, social climbing, also being mixed, using your pretty privilege. This is all I want to talk about. So, with that being said, I have realized that I have always kind of been very driven. I've been driven, like also in my achievements in school and just social climb, if we want to call it that, like being the first out of my family to go to university, and then like finding this like, or actually getting this corporate job and making that money, and then something hit, and I want to talk about that. Like I'm really seeing also my experiences from a different level now. So 10 years ago I kind of climbed all this ladder, and then something happened inside of me. Like I was thinking about, I was actually not satisfied with the job, and today I can say I was probably not satisfied with this job because it didn't give me the satisfaction that I wanted, like my pure selfish desire of being seen, being heard, being cherished, being celebrated, because I grew up on stage. Like I think I was probably 4 or something when I stood on stage for the first time. I have been on stage. I love performing. I love dancing. I love to be in the circus. I was a belly dancer. I love to be in front of people like I was my class representative or whatever. I used to go to conferences like very early, like all throughout my life. I was always like seeking the front. Like that was just my thing. I'm cool, I'm relaxed, but I'm very confident and I like to go to the front. Yeah. So this is what I've wanted. Also, probably after my studies, because I went for my studies because I am a high achiever, but my real dream in my youth was to become a dancer, actually, but I wasn't confident enough. And this is really what I'm realizing. I wasn't really confident enough to actually say, I want to be on the pedestal. I want to win. I want to pursue this dream. I want to show myself. I want to dance. I want to shake my booty. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to be celebrated. I want to be successful. I want to be the superstar. Because by admitting all of these things, there's this risk of getting the clap back, right? Of people saying, but you're not that pretty, you're not that talented. And back then I couldn't handle it. So now I'm coming out with all of that just to say that's always going to happen, right? So you're always going to get the clapback. So I want to invite all of us here to embrace this world. Yeah. If you are a recovering good girl, if you're a recovering, maybe indoctrinated religious girl or a people pleaser, I think this all falls in line. It's the same thing. I invite you to be more self-centered, yeah, to put yourself on a pedestal, to worship yourself, and to do whatever you got to do to get the things that you actually really want in this world. Yeah. So say it with me. I want the money. I want the money. Dare to say it. You want the money? Yeah. Okay. You want it? Yeah, maybe. Not maybe, you are materialistic. We are all, because we're living in a material world, and I am a material girl, and we got to eat. We got to eat and we want to live this life. So and allow yourself to say, I want that money. I want the money. I want the money. So I have been in sales, and I have been in sales for a long time. I used to do network marketing, and then I also got into this corporate sales job. And I have realized, like, the thing, like, you're not afraid. Like that's my point of view, and this is like my approach. I believe that actually, like, so many people are afraid of being in sales, right? So many people are afraid of negotiating face to face with people and actually making the sales, right? Or making the sale. Like, this is a common topic if we talk about sales. So people are afraid of making like asking for the sales. It's just like being like, okay, now do you want me? Do you want me in a relationship, for example, or whatever? It doesn't have to be a relationship, just a personal encounter between men and women or friends or whatever. Just asking, like, do you want me? Do you want to be with me? Do you want to be my friend? So many people are not asking those questions because they're actually afraid of getting the truth back, the reaction, and people saying, no, I want to reject you. Like, actually, I don't think you're sexy. I think you're nothing. I think no, you're not my friend. And no, actually, I don't really like you. Most people actually also don't say that, but we're all like, that's the fear here, right? We're afraid to be rejected. So it's the same thing in sales. In sales, is like people are afraid to ask for the sales because they're afraid to get rejected. So people beat around the bush, right? They beat around the bush. They try to be your friend, hee hee ha ha ha. But actually, at the end of the day, just be honest. Like, that's the conclusion here. Be honest and say, yeah, actually, I want your money. I want to sell to you. I want you to buy my product, and I want you to do it as soon as possible. That's the truth. End of story, right? If we're so blunt, there's no reason to be nervous. And I believe that has a lot to do with personal inquiry, knowing yourself, right? Self-reflection, introspection, being honest with yourself, getting to know your desires, getting to know yourself, getting to know your dark, deep secrets, right? Getting to know your, like, whatever it is that you want. And I personally believe, but everybody can think whatever they want. I believe everyone wants the same. I believe that every human being, especially women, I'm talking to my ladies here, I believe that we all want to be beautiful. Yeah, in your own right, whatever that means to you. But we all want to be beautiful because we want to feel good in this body, right? So we all want to be beautiful. Then we all want to be, we want to be seen. We want to be seen. We want to be heard because nobody wants to be invisible, right? Nobody wants to be invisible. So let's be real, okay? I can't believe that I'm looking so tired. Doesn't matter. Let's drink some water. I invite you to do that too. Um, so we all want to be beautiful. We all want to be um, some level of influential, right? Some level of influential, whatever that means to you. And we all want to be rich. Let's just be real. We all want that. Like whoever says anything else is lying, right? Whoever says anything else is lying. And I want to kind of tell my story and debunk like the psychology behind that. So I personally think that this is like the biggest layer. So I'm going to give you like a little explanation of like how we actually create results, right? So like coming from a more like psychological or yeah, psychological spiritual perspective, whatever we want to call it. So I believe, like as human beings, we have this potential, right? The pure life force. Like this is what's inside of us. Like we have this potential of being who we came here to be, whatever, right? To bloom into our full potential. But the programming, this is how I see it. The programming, and this is the like ancestral programming already. So this comes with your DNA, with your genetics, with your ancestry or with your heritage, and also definitely societal programming of the world that we live in. And I believe actually we are all like we've all kind of been fed more or less the same programming because we all live on this planet. But of course, there are nuances, like a lot of nuances, depending on where exactly you come from, your culture, the country that you live in, your parents, and their level of awareness and their level of self-realization, whatever we want to call it. So there's this big block on top of your potential. And this block is kind of like you can imagine, I love to paint the pictures because I'm a very like I like stories. That's how our mind works, right? And it's a whole psychological phenomenon. But I think that this here, this is your treasure. Like this is literally like the pearl or the treasure on the bottom of the ocean. And here is this monster or the dragon or a octopus, right? If we talk about the sea or whatever kind of creature. This creature, the predator inside of you, is keeping your treasure from the rest of your psyche, the rest of you. So it's very hard. And that's why personally believe in coaching, I believe in mentorship, I believe in mirroring. Yeah, I believe in friendships, of course, aware friendships, and also, yeah, maybe also channels like this where you can self-reflect through others because they're pointing out things that you might not see within yourself. And that's the whole thing. This, what you might not see within yourself is called a blind spot, right? And also, this part of your own psyche, the predator within, this is the part of you that keeps you blind to what is holding you back, right? So if I'm saying, I believe that this is the potential and this is where the honesty comes in, you are a human, right? And I have been guilty of that. As I'm saying, like I have been a people pleaser. I have been guilty of the good girl syndrome. And I have definitely also been denying myself things. I have been like, I was easily triggerable. But there was another thing that I wanted to say is that the guilt, also the guilt thing. But no, I kind of lost it. I'm sorry. But this part here, the predator within, is the part of us that keeps us numb, that keeps us stuck because this here, like the potential, we literally have to admit, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I have been spiritual bypassing, and I believe that's what all people do, like people pleasers, good girls, and everyone who's tried to be like nice or whatever, the nice girl, right? Because this comes from like this kind of moral indoctrination, and because people think, and this is a very old like social engineering tactic by the powers that be, however you want to call it, the people who are living their best life and then the people who are at the bottom. The people who are at the bottom, like it said that they have been fed religion, right? So they have been fed religion, and I don't know who said it, but religion is opium to the people, right? Opium fürs Volk, sagt man auf Deutsch. That's what we say in German. So religion is like it's a sedative, right? It's like a drug. It's like you get high on religion, and then you kind of sleepwalk through life because there's this promise that by being virtuous, by being the good girl, by being a people pleaser, by being correct, by having the morals, Christian morals or whatever morals, you are going to get to heaven, right? If you just work hard, if you just um, be a slave, right? You're going to get your reward in heaven, not only in this life. No, not when you're old and you retire. No, it's you're going to get it when you die. So that's a great story, isn't it? Like, isn't that a great story? I think it's like the biggest scam ever. And we all have to learn how to rid ourselves of that. And this is personally for me, this is what I do. That's what I do in my work. So if you're interested in actually really diving deep, I'm a life coach, and that's what I do. I help people to unblock their or uncover and get rid of the social programming. And we all have a lot. So personal development and inner work never stops. So, but I believe one of the shortcuts or whatever, if it's a shortcut, is to actually really acknowledge that you're a human being. You're not spiritually bypassing. You're not saying like, oh, I'm above this. I have been guilty of that too. Like, I am above this. Oh, that's so petty, right? That's so petty. Oh no, I don't engage in this. I don't engage in, I literally don't really engage in life. I really don't really engage in the bullshit. And let's be honest, this place is a mess. This life is fucking chaotic. This life is chaotic. This life is crazy. This life is messy. Most people are messy. Probably I'm messy too, and you're messy too. But we're trying to keep it together. Like we can create structures. We can create systems. I've also wrote about this in my book, how to create structures and systems. I'm actually all for trying to be as perfect as you can be so you can maintain your life, right? In terms of perfect, I mean to create the structures that will maintain whatever your standard is. I think it's important, but to just acknowledge that we are a work in progress, right? And if you want to play this game of life, and I think business is a big part, and like getting into life and just starting wherever you are, right? You just get into this big mess, and you keep your center. You keep your center, you keep your cool. I think this is where spirituality comes in. This is where you remain like a self-centeredness, literally, like you're self-centered. Your power is inside of you. If you want to call it God or the divine, it's inside of you. Like the energy is inside of you. This is the number one thing. That's your personal focus. And I believe if you have that personal anchor, that personal focus, you can get into every mess and still kind of come out sane, right? I remember that one of my teachers, um like the teacher I had, like the doctor, she was the doctor who certified me as a nutritionist. And I think she said something like, I want to go through life and I want to get dirty, something like that. And I since then I have this picture in my mind that life is that, like, we can't stay clean in this world if we actually really want to play the game of life. Like, we can't just be clean and be like, okay, I'm mentally I'm mentally already at the end. Like I know my morals, I know my values. I'm going to be here. I'm going to stay clean. I think in order to play the game of life, you have to get into the game and you also have to be ready to fight, right? In order to protect yourself, right? And to protect yourself by all means necessary, that also means that you're not going to stay clean. You probably have to kill some people. I don't know if you can say that on Instagram, on YouTube here, but not literally. Like I don't plan to do that, but maybe, like if people have to do that, they will, so that's it. And actually, while I'm saying all of that, this is actually the story of the Bhagavad Gita, right? So I read the Bhagavad Gita, like this Hindu scripture, and this is actually what they're talking about. So there's this guy like Krishna, who's like the awakened God or whatever. And then there's Arjuna. And Arjuna and Krishna, they have this relationship. Maybe Krishna is his like spirit guide or he's his higher self. I don't know, So Arjuna is always asking Krishna like how to navigate life. That's literally it. Krishna is telling him like how to navigate life, and Arjuna is a warrior. I think that's what it is. Like he's a warrior on the battlefield of life. And actually, I think the story is that Krishna says that you cannot get out, like you cannot live this life and get out like unbruised. You will have to like you have to fight. You have to be in this battlefield of life and do your best. And then at the end, you will come out. That's kind of the purpose of life, is to actually be here and be a human and get dirty. And that's perfect. I love doing these YouTube videos. You know why? Because while I'm speaking, like I made some notes and things like that. But like I'm just talking and then other points come to me. So I love it. So that's the story of the Bhagavad Gita. So that's actually also what Krishna is saying. Like you have to get into this life and you have to get dirty. So there is no quote unquote staying pure on the outside, and that's what it's about, right? I believe that, like, I like the word purity. Some people might debate, oh no, that's not good because it comes with a big stigma, but I believe in terms of purity that you cleanse your heart, you cleanse your spirit. Like I'm not here, like I'm not gonna, I don't have anger against anybody. I don't have anger, I don't have rage against anybody, but I have to do what I have to do. So and sometimes on the battlefield of life, that means that I have to, so, but not with rage in my heart. Like on a spiritual level, like I see you, you see me, namaste, I know you're a spiritual being, I'm a spiritual being, but yo, I gotta do what I gotta do. So this is how I see it. And that's what I believe in. It's not about spiritual bypassing and being like, yeah, I'm not going to play this game of life because I'm so virtuous. It's really about getting into life. It's about playing the game, it's being in this life and just looking out for yourself and maybe the people that you love. Even them, you can't really save them. Like that's also what I've experienced. Even the people that you love, if that's not what they're open for, they're not going to receive your message. They're not going to receive your advice. Like they don't care. They're just going to do whatever they do. So you can only share your message for the people that are receptive to it, and you have to learn how to survive. That's it. Like I was so obsessed for a long time with this idea of thriving, right? Like thriving and living in this kind of utopian world. Like literally, that's what it was. Like living in this utopian world, having this vision, which can be nice, and in some parts of the world, like people are already kind of materializing this utopian world, like with this green and with the solar energy and with like community spaces and things like that. There's some utopia going on, but the majority of the world is still a very chaotic place. Okay, so we're not gonna get there anywhere soon into this utopia. So until then, you have to do what you have to do on this planet. Okay, so living on this planet, is not about spiritual bypassing, because if you want a spiritual bypass, and spiritual bypass literally means like just being like, I'm above it. I'm above it. I'm too good. I'm too morally clean. Like, I'm not going to get into the fight. I'm not going to clap back. I'm not going to say any curse words. I'm going to be this holy person. Nothing can touch me. I feel like you can be that within. You can't get out there and be like, okay, I don't care, you can't touch me. It's an internal thing, but you're still going to be human and play the game. Okay, so that's also, again, I'm definitely speaking about me too. And so if you can relate, chime in. Okay, I would love to hear from you. So I believe that if we're talking about dark spirituality or dark femininity, it's really, for me, it's all about acknowledging your humanity. That's literally that's for me, that's the word. Literally, all of this dark thing. And again, as I said before, that my friend said, like, you're not embodying like this dark feminine archetype, bitch. Like, I can wear whatever I want and still be using the different aspects of who I am at any given point, while I'm having maybe pretty pink bow ties or whatever you call it in your hair, right? I don't have to look like a gothic. That's, for me, I hate those stereotypes. It's okay if you want to play with it. We can also do that. I don't mind, but let's be above it, okay? Like, it's the same thing with the like this toxic femininity culture in on social media, where like everyone is like, okay, if you want to get a man, you have to speak soft, and you can't really, you don't get angry with the man, but just give him the silent treatment or whatever they're saying. I'm like, okay, if you want to do that, I understand, it's manipulation tactics, you can do that, no shade, but that's not the reality of being a full range, real, honest, like, human being. And again, also, no shade. Some women, like, you can show whatever you want to show about you, and then you can also portray that this is the way how you live your best life. It's just not real for me, because I believe that as a woman, we are the full range. You can be ratchet, you can be angry, you can be mad, you can hysterically cry. People are also trying to shame women who are emotionally out of control. I think it's definitely a maturation process to be able to kind of control your emotions, but at the same time, I feel like you can also express your emotions without getting too entangled in them. You can't cry and then come back to yourself. You can get mad and then come back to yourself. Hopefully you don't do any crazy things that will get you in trouble later on. I think that's what I agree on with emotional regulation. But we're full spectrum, right? We can be super sweet and super high vibe, and namaste. I'm that girl too. Like, I'm not throwing shade. I love that. So we can be super happy, super sweet, and just high vibe, pink roses and all of that. But also, we can also be dark, being mad, being even unbothered, and kind of, what's the word, being like, I don't care. Like this I don't care energy. Like, I literally don't care. It's okay. I'm not always empathetic. That's also okay. We can be the full range. That's just honest. For me, that's the real liberation. So I'm saying all of that to say that I believe dark femininity is about being honest with yourself, tap into your humanity. If we want to talk in spiritual terms, which I also like, is to tap into your root chakra, because the root chakra is all about survival. And at the first step in this world is to survive. If you want to attain any kind of spiritual enlightenment, you cannot attain it while bypassing your human experience, by denying that you actually have physical needs. That's why so many people in the spiritual community suffer and they're not making any money, because they haven't understood that we're still living on this planet. You can't bypass where we live. If you do that, you're gonna lose out. That's just what it is. So we want to actually be honest enough about our humanity, and in this root chakra, like in this basic instinct. Yeah, we want money. Yeah, if we can look at the Maslow pyramid, yeah, the hierarchy of needs, right? And the first level is that we need food, clothes, and shelter. And how do we pay for it today? Money. Okay. So food, clothes, and shelter. And then after that, I don't know what's the next thing, but I think like belonging or something like that, like belonging to friends and family. And then we want like self-esteem. This is where we get more selfish again, right? Where we want to continue to rise to all that we can be, self-esteem. And then the highest thing is self-realization, something like that. Maybe it's a little different, but something like that. So number one, we all want money, so, and it's like an unspoken secret, I don't know, of people who are not honest with themselves. Most people are slaving away their whole life and never being honest enough to tell themselves, yeah, actually, I want money too, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. And actually, there's nothing wrong with it. I actually love, as I said, like I'm a saleswoman and I love sales because it's like it's honest, like you want this, I have this to offer. Like, do you want it? Yes. Also being honest about this, is this what you want? Is this your need right now? Like, do you want to buy this? Yeah, just say yes, right? Just say yes. Yeah, that's actually what I need. So tell me a little bit more about the benefits. I love these kind of mature conversations. Like that's for me, that's a mature conversation. Just being able to talk about money, just being able to say, okay, you want a better life, you got to pay. You got to pay, right? Also for spiritual consultation, that's also a big topic for many people, and it has been for me too. Like in the beginning, or actually not in the beginning, actually somewhere in the middle. Like I've been a coach for now 7 years, and in the beginning, I had no problem because that's how I think. Like I was actually always very money conscious, but then I got entangled into this whole like spiritual conscious world where all of a sudden, I don't know, it kind of got twisted. But I want to come back to, I love this mature conversations where people are just able to say, I want that. It's going to cost money. Can you bring the money or not? If you cannot bring the money, then that's okay. Uncharged, that's it's okay. Like we don't have to argue. You can still come back. If you don't have the money, then I'm sorry, I can't give it to you. That's it. Can we all get to that level? Like that's normal. You pay for things all the time. So all in this world, everything is about exchange, and money is our means to exchange. So that's something really that I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it more and more because this has definitely been something that I want to talk about. Yeah, let's talk about money. Let's talk about you wanting money. Let's talk about you having needs. Yeah, and also just really admitting, that's a key word here. Admitting that you want something, admitting that you want money, maybe even admitting that you want whatever, the job. You want to be beautiful. I think that's the same. You want to be beautiful. Admit it. Just admit it. Like this is, I feel that's the biggest lie, and that's why so many people, like I'm like, okay, you're not even honest, so let's not continue to talk. You want to be beautiful, you want to be powerful. I stand on that too. Everybody wants to have a level of power, not necessarily over others, but you want to have your power, and you want to have power so you can create whatever it is that you want, right? So you want the money, you want the power, you want the influence, and you want the freedom, right? You want to, most of all, like that's definitely what I want. I want the freedom that comes with all of that. Let's just be real. What are we talking about? Just admit that to yourself. This is already, for me, that's dark femininity. Wow. It's nothing too spectacular. What do you think? Okay. So also, with that being said, and that has been my story. So being able to just say that, that's, I think, maybe even one accomplishment, right? To kind of pull it out of yourself because it's underneath. And this is like the potential, and here's like the block of indoctrination. Oh, that's bad. You don't want to have money. You want to be morally perfect because the powers that be and were They actually trained us to give away all of our life force energy to be a slave and then to be rewarded in heaven when we die for the good deeds that we did on the planet. That's a big scam. Look how crazy that is. Like, I just think it's so crazy that people live and die going through this earth. That's why I am still a spiritual, because for me, I think this planet is the big school for a soul's evolution. And some people, they come here, they live, and they die without ever knowing who they are, what kind of power they had, knowing their desires. They didn't know anything about themselves. They just thought, I have to give away all my energy to this workplace or to other people just to die empty and be like kind of thrown away. Isn't that crazy? That's not us over here. So let's continue. So I have definitely been a people pleaser. I have been a good girl. I have been afraid of the clapback. And that's really the point here, is about just knowing, like literally knowing I I am not gonna die never trying. This is also what I wrote down. I believe that people are so afraid of trying, or of doing or being seen while being like actually daring to run as fast as possible for your life, to be able to run as fast as possible for your dreams or for the goal or for the money, right? Like, even, I don't know, like I'm just thinking about, I don't know, I always see like pictures in my mind, like if people throw money, for example, in the club or something. I don't know. It's just a picture in my mind. But imagine people like throwing money in the club, and you're kind of in the vicinity of it, but you're not all the way there. So you would have to run to go and get it. But I know that so many people will feel embarrassed to run for the money, yeah, because they're so like, oh no, I'm above it. Like, I'm not gonna show people that I actually love money. Uh, Everybody could use some more money, like literally everybody, like even if you're a millionaire or whatever, what is wrong? Like, maybe you actually really don't want to run and go and get the money, but as long as you are not like completely financially where you want to be, you can be petty and you can run and even maybe push somebody aside if it's like $100 or euro bills somebody's throwing. But people will literally feel embarrassed to actually run and go for the money because they don't want to show that they actually want the money. I don't care. I'm going to embarrass myself for 1 minute and have these a few additional €100 bills in my pocket. You understand what I mean? And I believe that this is what life is about. Like, this is what I see, this is what I observe in life. That people are so embarrassed to dare to say that they want to change their situation and then actually run and look stupid while they're on their way to get their money. Right? Whether it be social media, whether it be starting a business, whether it be whatever project that you could be doing, yeah, but you're going to start off not being perfect. You're going to start off probably embarrassing yourself, but who cares? Like, literally, who cares? Because you're actually running for your life. And if you don't dare to run for your life, it is because you have a tight grip, like the social conditioning of looking good in front of the others is so tight on you that you rather die looking good to someone else instead of you going for what it is that you actually want and get financially free, like in the case of money. But it's the same thing with beauty. Some people will they will stay ugly. Let's just, like, exaggeration always makes the point. So some people will stay ugly because they don't dare to admit to themselves or then admit to someone else that they actually don't like something about themselves and that they want to change it. So it's like going hard. Sometimes there's going to be a time in our lives where we aren't going to be like obsessed with something. And this is, again, I see this picture of running for your life, like looking crazy, running for your life and admitting, I'm going to the gym every day because I have this obsessive goal. You do it. If that's your thing, you do it. Like, I don't care. I'm not at this point, but you go and do it. Or I'm going to hustle hard. Like, I'm going out and I'm going to do this. I'm going to record a video every day. I'm going to work, like, I'm going to talk to people every day because I want this money. I want this fame. I want this platform. I want the influence. I want it. I am not going to pretend that I am humble or whatever. I am modest and I'm happy and grateful where I am, even though I know that I want to change something. And I believe every time you want to change something, you have to get disciplined. You have to kind of get obsessed, yeah, with that, whatever it is that you want. And maybe you're going to look like you're going to embarrass yourself, whatever that means, in front of other people, and other people will, and it's going to come. And I think this is something that I want to share. It's going to come. People are going to ask you, who do you think you are? People are going to ask you, who do you think you are? You're not that pretty. Look at you. You're too old. You're too young. You're too short. You're blah, blah, blah. Your skin is not pretty. Your hair is not pretty. Your teeth are not pretty. Your nose is not pretty. You don't have the body. You don't have the ass. You don't have the boobs. You don't have this. You don't have that. You're not it. Blah, blah, blah. People are literally going to point out your flaws, and people are going to kind of want to pull you down and just say, who do you think you are? And then you're going to say, yeah, I know who I am and I don't give a fuck about your opinion. Okay, so let me continue to try, because I'd rather try and walk that path looking stupid, embarrassing myself, instead of never admitting to myself that I actually want to go for that dream and that I want what I want. You understand? So it's really unearthing, bringing what it is that you want to the forefront and going for it. My goodness, it's crazy. I mean, really, I'm talking to myself as well. It's crazy how we've been programmed and how this program has this chokehold on us. So, also saying, I want social status, also saying, I want social power, and I don't feel guilty. I don't feel guilty for it. And this is where I want to come in. I have literally felt guilty for my privileges. Like, that's all that I can explain it. So, as I told you, like, I was the social climber out of my family. I have actually always thought that I was a star. And I think hopefully many kids think that, but I've always thought I was star. As I said, I was on the stage very early in my life. So I thought I was a star. I thought I was pretty. I thought I could do it. I thought I was intelligent, and I did it. So I climbed the ladder of education, which I'm very grateful for. I believe in education. You should get an education. Everybody should get an education, especially women. I believe in formal education. I believe in online courses. I believe in mentorship. I believe in coaching. I believe in adult education, whatever you want, reading books, buying courses, and so on. So I sought out that education. I was very proud of myself. Then I landed, like, very easily landed this corporate job because of my pretty privilege. That's definitely what I can say, because the guy who gave me the job, I think he was into me, and he offered me this opportunity. So I got into this company, and actually, like, this could have been, later on, you're always smarter, I know, but I was in accounting, and it was a very easy job. It was actually very easy. So I was an international accountant, but it was very easy, and I was very like, I wasn't challenged at all. And I had a lot of time. So I always looked I always watched videos and things like that. And I was like, okay, I want to find my purpose, right? Very, very vague, very vague. I want to find my purpose. I was always confident in myself, and I was always a believer in some positive force in my life, if you want to call it God, spirit, whatever. And I thought, okay, let me just quit that job and find my purpose. So that was stupid, but I did it. And and then on my way here, I feel like I fell all the way down. And because I felt privileged, I felt very privileged. Like it's almost 10 years ago. I felt like I'm so privileged. I'm educated. I believe that I have a lot to share even back then, and that's why I'm doing this YouTube channel finally. Yeah, I had to become all of everything that I am now. So to come here now with all this confidence, but that's how it is sometimes. But I already thought 10 years ago that I had a lot to share, and I did that. So first of all, I wanted to also live my dreams. So I started back dancing. This was back with the Black community. So I'm mixed. My mom is German, my dad is Ghanaian, and I also grew up around both cultures. So I had access to the Black community, and I thought that's what I thought. I thought that I could use my privilege the best in serving the quote unquote, I don't want to generalize, but the underprivileged community, because I had so much access to privilege, right? So I thought I could help them. So I started dancing, and then afterwards I kind of quit that, and I got into this whole social entrepreneurship space. Social entrepreneurship, how to use your talent or how to use your business model in terms of creating value for the overall society before profit. So it's kind of a mix between having the idea of a for social, like the first level kind of should be, how can I add value to society while making money, like a mix of the nonprofit with profit. But it was, yeah, I think it's a good way, because I also believe in that. I believe that there is a win-win situation. If I can if I can be happy doing what I want to bring forth into the world, use my talent, use my voice, use my knowledge, use my experience, if I can use that, having fun and offering it to the collective, knowing that I serve value, and at the same time being compensated for it, it's a win-win. I believe in that. I definitely believe that that's the best way. Nobody has to sacrifice. I don't have to sacrifice, and you don't have to sacrifice. You're going to get value for spending your time and buying my programs or buying my mentorship or looking at this video. You're spending time, I'm spending time, and it's a win-win. I get to be happy sharing my experiences, and you're gonna be happy receiving it. So I definitely believe in the social impact kind of theory, but I'm all for profit. I'm all for profit. Like, I'm not a nonprofit person at this time. No, like, this is also something, like, I'm not a charity project, and that's also something that comes with a good girl, but I used to be that. So I quit my job. While I was living my very best life. Let me tell you, I was looking snatched. I had my car, I had this job, I was paid well. It was a like, the job was not too, it was not too, it didn't challenge me enough. So it was actually perfect. It was a little boring. I was like free on time. I went to the gym after the job. Like, I had a regulated life. Actually, it was amazing, to be honest, like, really. But I had to make all these experiences now to come on here and share that. So I had that job, and then I thought, okay, I'm so privileged. Let me find my purpose. What can I do? So then after the dancing thing, I got into the social impact kind of thing, and then I realized, actually, I don't have a business idea that I will want to bring to fruition, and I want to learn more about the things that interest me without, like, not Like I didn't have anything to offer, even though I did, but I didn't want to take it full there. So I became a nutritionist, and that's my passion: health, beauty, and really debunking like the toxic system, so really learning about that. I loved it. It was one of the best times in my life. So went and got that degree, and then later on I became a life coach. Love it, don't regret it. It was amazing. This is where I learned all of this mental deconstruction, and actually building a mindset and a whole system of like transformation to become the person who is able to live her dreams. This is what I teach. Like that's everything. That's what I'm about. So there's a whole science and all of that behind it. I'm very blessed. So after that, I became a life coach, I became a nutritionist, and I helped my mom to build her thing. I don't want to go too deep into it. I want to talk a little bit about my people-pleasing tendencies back then. So I also, like, I had all this knowledge, right? And I had all these certifications, but I wasn't at the point to be like, okay, now I'm here and I'm going to ruthlessly just promote myself. I didn't in the beginning. It was kind of like the beginner's feeling. And and then I don't know, I don't really know what happened, but then somehow I became a community girl, even though I was all for profit. I was all for give me my money. I made back all that money that I invested. I did. So, but at then some point, like I was okay, also offering my like cooking courses and educating the Black community about healthy food. And this was also in me, and it's still in me, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get rid of it, because I actually do care about helping people. I do care about empowering people with the right knowledge. But the right knowledge today goes further than just being nice and sharing my knowledge. Now we're talking about dark femininity, because I believe that this is actually this is the protection mechanism for good women and good people. I believe it's important to activate the darkness so you can stay sane in this world full of exploiters. Like, we live in a world built on exploitation. This is what capitalism is. This is what white supremacy is. This is what this hierarchical system is. It's built on exploitation, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I still can say I want money, I want influence, I want all that's power, my personal power, and I believe in the win-win situation. So again, going back, there was a good period in my life where I was the community service girl, where I didn't get paid too much. I was cooking for the kids and I taught them. It was a good time as well. I had a lot of fun with the kids. But I was kind of in the background. Like, I didn't kind of dare to fully step into the light and say, hey, actually, I want to be a superstar. you know actually I want to make more money. Actually, I have bigger dreams and goals. Actually, I want to be more focused on my looks. I want to be more focused on my beauty. But it was a time. Everything is okay. We all go through stages. But I was a community service girl, and I didn't make a lot of money, and then it kind of creeped in. Again, I don't really understand, and that's the thing. And that's what I want to say. We live in a world where you have to constantly check your thoughts. And this is, again, why I believe in coaching, why I believe in mirroring, while I am for mentorship, because a mentor can help you stay on track. Because just one idea, like, the mind can be, if you're not really meticulous, like there's this one saying, like, stand guard at the portal of your mind, right? Stand guard at the portal of your mind is really about gatekeeping what gets to come into your mind and whatnot, and it's so important to check that very frequently, best daily, through meditation, through journaling, through reflection and contemplation. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't really know how this bug, right, could stay with me so long. because yeah, I had also had, of course, you have clients who try to play you and things like that. But there was a long time where I didn't dare to step into my power again, like fully, because there was this backlash. There were people questioning me, doubting me, thinking that I exploited them. Even though I honestly, from me, in German, we say there's this saying like mit bestem Wissen und Gewissen, with the best conscious and the best knowledge I had at the time, I was always seeking for a win-win, because I actually, again, I'm going to say it again and again, but I actually do believe in win-win situation. Don't necessarily believe in exploitation. I believe both can win. I can win while you can win. I have value to offer. You get the value, I get the money. That's a win-win situation. Okay. So, but again, I was a people pleaser. I tried to, and this is where I also got trapped in the good girl thing. I tried to build an image of being, I don't even know if I was trying to build that image, but internally, that is what kind of was playing in my head. It's paradoxical. Like while I'm thinking about that, I'm just thinking out loud. Actually, I don't know if I wanted to be the good girl, but I think it was just part of my process, just literally, because at that time I shaved off my hair. I don't always want to be the pretty sweet girl. No, I can be quite radical. But there was still something inside of me where I didn't fully dare to break through and be like, yeah, that's what I want. Just like with this channel, like that's what I want. I want to be able to talk freely about the things that I'm maybe not so popular. I don't care. So, but it's real and it comes from a good place. So maybe there was still this good girl thing. And then actually it took me years, to be honest. Like it took me a few years with a lot of hits in my face of being exploited by men, by business partners, and not literally not being able to hold my ground and to have boundaries, right? So, and this is where the dark psychology comes in. You you are no longer here. Like that's also the stage that I went through. I am not gonna, and this is again, sorry for jumping back and forth, but yeah, I'm thinking out loud. So I thought I could save the world with my privileges. I thought that with all my knowledge and all my experiences and my energy, I could save, I started with helping the Black community. I mean, that's very sweet. It's very sweet. And I don't want to, I think that's still something that I do and I promote, but I first had to save myself. And I realized that. So I am no longer going to be here carrying the weight of the world of my shoulders. No, I also did that. Like I was vegan for a long time. And I also always wanted to find like, where can I do the biggest impact? I still believe in that. I still believe in healthy eating. I still believe in consciousness. I still believe in knowing that everything is connected. I still believe in looking for healthy alternatives for your body. I think that's also a win-win. Healthy food from the soil, biologically organic, that is good for the soil and it's good for me. So it's a win-win. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes I don't always eat like that and I don't hate myself for it. So I had this urge. I wanted to save the world. I definitely was that person. I wanted to save the world. I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, also being aware of so many social injustice. Obviously, as an educated Black woman, I think you are aware of what's going on. And and then I kind of lost myself a little bit. And this is another thing. And I think, and I hope that you resonate with that. And then at one point, and that's one of the major things for us to break through if we want to use our privileges for our advantages, is the guilt of the privilege. The guilt, being guilty of being privileged, being guilty of being resourced, being guilty of having the money, having the talents, having the contacts, having the ability, having the access. I kind of felt that way, being guilty of the privilege. Check yourself. Check yourself if you have that too. and get rid of the guilt. Get rid of the guilt, please. Like, we are here, as I said, I think we have to, like, our life purpose, if we want to call it that, we're here to use all that we have in order to get ahead ourselves. And then you can look back and help others, mainly by empowering them with money, access, or opportunities or knowledge. And this is how you can help people. Yeah. So don't feel guilty of your privilege. I think I did. I think I did. Like, and I'm a big fan of stacking privilege at this point. This concept comes from EU, I'm always giving reference, that's fine. But stacking your privileges. If you know you're educated, it's a privilege. If you're beautiful, it's a privilege. If you have access to powerful people, it's a privilege. So many things can be privileges. So look into your life and really see what are your privileges, and are you guilty like for having those privileges? I think I told that story before. I had another client, many of my clients actually had those problems as well, being guilty of their privileges. One white girl, she was actually rich and had this rich boyfriend, and she felt guilty for having this privilege somehow, going into like being seen. Then there was this other one. She's a big influencer and she actually comes from a family with money, but she also felt guilty for her privilege because she's also serving an underprivileged community because she was a Muslim with a hijab and yeah, kind of representing diversity on German television. And she also felt guilty for actually not being underprivileged. But you have to be in a more privileged position in order to, and this is what I mean, you have to kind of climb the ladder, the social ladder, getting yourself into a more privileged position so you can actually reach down and help others. That's how it goes. Let's debunk all these myths. So, yeah, utilize your privilege to get to as much power as possible and then reach back down. I know everyone says that. All the gurus, I've been in the personal development space for a long time with all these people. And I know that this is also something that this one financial advisor guy, like T.R. Heckert or whatever his name is, he also said that. Like you have to build this wall, or you have to climb the wall, and you can only throw the rope back down when you reach the wall end, you know? Yeah, so that's very important to not feel guilty for our privileges. And yeah, again, I'm just saying, be honest about you wanting to be on top. You wanting to be on top of your game and move strategic about going there. And this is also something where I feel like this has been something for me, not being strategic, because being strategic is being calculative, right? You're playing chess. Like you're playing chess, you are plotting and scheming, right? You're writing the story. You're actually being very intentional about where you're going, what pictures you're taking, who you're talking to, and so on and so forth. And it takes the calculative mind. It's not just pure and it just happened out of an accident or like just by happenstance. No, you planned it. You planned it. And I also have to think about another friend. Success is not in a coincidence, right? Success is planned. Success is calculated. Success is strategized. Like you strategize it, you know exactly what you want and you strategize it. And I believe that people pleasers and good girls, they're afraid of admitting that they're actually strategizing. They're not waiting for the luck. They're putting themselves in a position to attract the luck, right? So it's really, really important to know there are cheat codes. I love that. There are cheat codes, there are loopholes, right? And there are shortcuts. And it's okay to look for them. It's okay to look for them. This is another thing that I also learned, and I'm actually very comfortable with. It's about being lazy. I think that's also something that, especially as women, I think this is something that we, I think like people think it's an insult. Like when people say, you're so lazy, people get offended and it's a problem. But yeah, I'm lazy. And I know that everyone is actually lazy. We're human beings. We're not made to be in this rat race. Yeah, if you're not being controlled all the time by fear, you're gonna relax back into your natural cycle. And sometimes we are lazy. Yeah, sometimes we just want to lay around, especially as women, if we have our period. This is being considered lazy. Yeah, but we're not men and we're not made or built to work like a slave every day. No. And that's also something. If you're a good girl, you don't want to be considered like nobody, you don't want to be considered lazy. But that's okay. I'm lazy. No problem. I'm lazy and I want to have all the shortcuts. I want to have all the cheat codes. I want to jump through the loopholes and just get into this other dimension real quick. Real quick. It's easy. It can be very easy. Okay. So that's one thing. And it's also something that I wrote down here is that as a recovering people pleaser, I can definitely say that too. Yes, I admit it. It was a long time coming that I had to stand up for myself and be like, I don't care. I will stand for myself. Especially also, I don't want to go too deep into it. It's another topic, but I will talk about that more as well. Being mixed. Somehow, like being mixed, since I have never really belonged to any group that I can remember. Being around Black people, I didn't belong. Being around white people, I didn't belong. There was no subculture that I belonged in because I'm so multifaceted. I never felt like, oh, this is my place. No, the music that I listen to maybe is different. I can't really relate with all the people that listen to the same music because I have so many other facets of me, even though music is a very big connector, I believe. But then I'm a nerd, I love science. I love biology. I love this whole nutrition thing, cell biology. I love quantum physics. I love interior design and feng shui. I love whatever. I love performing. Like I love to act, I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to be on stage, I like to speak. I'm a speaker. So many things. And there has never been like one group of people that I felt like I belonged to. So actually, it was kind of a paradox again. I knew that I was actually always standing alone, but then when people would confront me or whatever, I didn't really stand up for myself, which I'm doing now, like standing up for myself, standing up for my dreams, standing up for my desires, and not being afraid to stand alone and being seen. And this is also something that's a theory of mine. I believe actually I think like homeless people or poor people, I believe, I know it's a very general thing, yeah, but I don't mind, bear with me. So I believe many people are in this position because or if they are at that position, like at one point they don't care about anything anymore, right? They are on their own. They are not afraid to beg. They're not afraid to, maybe they're mentally ill as well. I definitely believe that too. But they're not afraid to beg. They're not afraid to contact people, like literally go through the street and ask every second person for money. And I've thought about that I think those people, they could be amazing networkers. They could be amazing like network marketing people because it takes this level of, I don't really care if I get rejected energy, just like a homeless person who's begging for money. It takes the same energy from a person to contact so many people on the street, not being afraid to be rejected. That's just something that I've thought about many times. So it's about standing up for yourself, even if you're not on the brink of homelessness, right? Standing up for yourself, going out there and being like, yeah, it's true. Again, coming back to sales, right? Because that's what it is. Yeah, it's true. I want your money. I have a beautiful product to offer. It's worth it. I want your money. I want the power. I want the influence. I want a social climb. I want to get ahead in life. What about you? What about you? So I want your money, and probably I am going to give you knowledge. I'm going to give you a beauty enhancements. I want to give you, like, I'm going to give you a wig. I'm going to give you makeup. Oh my God, it's so late, but I love to speak about that. I'm gonna finish off real quick. But standing up for yourself is all about dark femininity, overcoming your guilt, being admitting what it is that you want, standing up for yourself and being able to stand alone. Yeah, right. Standing up for yourself, meaning, okay, I'm going to confront whatever is going on, but also really being able to stand alone. You don't need nobody else. Like, you don't need nobody else. I know other friends still at this time where they need somebody else, to start something with. I have been that person too, but you can start something on your own. And that's definitely, again, going back to the analogy of that most people are so embarrassed to go and run for the money, go and run for their dreams because they're embarrassed. People are literally embarrassed to do that in like literally. People are embarrassed to run for the bus. Have you ever seen that? I have definitely seen that, where people don't dare to run for the bus and get the bus because they're afraid that they will not get the bus and that they might look stupid going to run for the bus. That's literally what's happening, and that's exactly what I see with people, that they are afraid to run for the bus, for their life, for the success, for the dream, for their accomplishment, for their goal. They're afraid to run for it because they're afraid to get rejected or that they lose or that they will not get what it is that they want. So I have been that person too. Check if you have been that person too. But I believe that if you are, and that's for me, these are the Cardi B's and all of the quote unquote ratchet women who literally don't care to run for the bus. I think that's going to be an analogy here for my ladies. So, okay, so let's run for the bus. Let's can we make that a statement? Like, comment down below if you feel it. Okay, I would love to hear a comment on that. Let's run for the bus, right? It stands for going for our dreams and not being afraid to maybe fall down. We're not afraid to be embarrassed if we don't get the bus because we actually did everything that we could in order to get the bus. And I'm not going to be ashamed, right? I want the money. I want the influence. I want the power. And I'm going to go for it, even if I don't get the bus the first time. Okay. So it's about being independent, standing up for yourself. And at the end of the day, let's make it very dramatic. I love being dramatic. You got to be ready to die. You got to be ready to die again and again because actually it is dangerous, and it is also dangerous for our brains. That's why we don't do it. If we look at evolution, if we look at brain science and all of that, being like standing out because that's what dark femininity is about, is being standing out. Because if everyone is complacent, if everyone is nice and sweet and everybody's just going along and nobody's ruffling any feathers, everything is smooth, right? But if you go and ruffle the feathers, if you say that you want all the smoke, yeah, if you want all of that, you you're gonna be like publicly scrutinized at one point. You will, so you got to be ready to die, whether it be socially, and sometimes I want to take it to the extreme because I think it's good to just confront that. And then I feel like, yeah, we all have to die one day or another. We will all have to die. And what is alive is a very cliche saying, but I love it and it fits. And it's like, what is alive? Like, what did you, like, if you don't live for anything, you won't die for something or something like that. It's yeah, to translate it in a better way, it's like, if you know that you're gonna die anyways and your life sucks, like just try. Get rich or die trying. That's it. That's it. I love this saying. Like I think we all do. Get rich or die trying. Get rich or die trying. Like we all like let's at least die trying. Let's at least die trying. Ooh, I love it. Let's at least die trying. Totally. Like let's run for the bus, okay? Let's run for the bus. Let's go for it. Falling down, bleeding, having dirt in our face, getting our hair ripped off. I don't want that. I don't want that for none of us. But if that's part of the story, so be it. Because at the end of the story, hopefully, I'm gonna get the riches. You know, that's what I believe in. So you got to be ready to die if you really want to live. If you really want to live, you got to be ready to die. It doesn't always literally mean, even though I like to go to the extreme of literally dying, but you got to be ready to die socially. You got to be ready to die. Friends are going to leave you. You got to be ready to die. Whatever. So many people have told stories about being like publicly scrutinized. People went to jail and all of that. This is all being bad, and they still came out on the other side. Don't we want to be those persons? Yeah, let's live. Okay. So, yeah, I think you're allowed to do whatever you want. You're allowed to do whatever you want. That's dark femininity. And it doesn't have to look any kind of cliche way. Dark femininity just literally means you're willing to stand up for yourself, for your real and true desires, and not just fitting into the good girl mode, in the being in the good girl syndrome, being selfless, catering to everybody. No, we're not doing this over here anymore. Let's step into our dark femininity. I will talk about more about that. Let me know in the comments down below how you like that. I actually had a lot of fun. I actually have something like with myself. I love to be tired, sometimes I have, not sometimes, most of the time, I have so much energy. If you've watched my content, and I would love you to watch it, watch the other videos if that's your first one. In the other videos, I'm so hyped up, I'm doing too much. Like I'm that person. I'm a striver. In Germany, we say like Streber is like kind of like a bad insult for the children who are like the overachievers who want to do everything right and want to be like, hey, I'm here in class, well prepared, you know? And yeah, I'm that too. So sometimes I can maybe come off as that. And but when I'm tired, just like now, like I don't care even more. Like I think I have a different personality a little bit, and it's just even raw, more real, more authentic and juicy, because the juice is in the darkness, right? So let me know what you think. Have you been a people pleaser? Probably. Have you been a yes girl? Yes, just saying yes, yes, yes. Being a pushover, being a doormat, being exploited by people. Yeah. Money wise, love wise, all of those things. You didn't get what you want. I've been that person, definitely. Um, what do you think about running for the bus? What do you think about getting rid of the guilt? What about owning that you want the money, you want the fame, or you want the social status, you want to just live life in these streets, no spiritual bypassing, because you will die one day and then you will get to the heaven that you're looking for, but while we are here, let's build the heaven that we want here. Let's have fun. Let's get a little dirty, and let's remain the integrity. Like that's still what I believe in. Maybe it's still the good girl in me, but I do believe that it goes together. I believe that you can still create win-win situations. It's not about exploiting people. No, but it's definitely about protecting yourself and not being a pushover. That's it. Isn't that sweet? I believe that's the best combination. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. And until then, take good care of yourself, okay? In these raggedy ass streets in this world. Bye.